Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh, shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. The season is, if you count, well, the Tokyo series does count, but the season is about to start, may have already started with the Tokyo series already happening, but it's our marquee World Series or bust list. And the man, of course, that he and I debate about these teams, and Austin.
Yeah, we thought about adding more teams, but we couldn't really come to an agreement on any of those, which is understandable. This is definitely the least we've ever done on a championship or bust. We call it the World Series or bust for baseball, but I think 3 teams is the least we've ever had.
Yeah, definitely. Usually we're about that 4 mark, and usually we have a lot of teams. But just with this season, you and I couldn't really think of there were no compelling arguments besides these 3 teams, which is why we kind of stayed at 3. We believe wholeheartedly these 3 teams are World Series or bust. One is an obvious choice, but the others I think have legitimate cases as well. So I don't know if you want to go into the obvious one or do the other 2
I'll let you choose.
I think we'll go into the most obvious one, which is the LA Dodgers, because it does go against our rule of if you win, you're exempt the following year. However, you and I were both in agreement on this, but the Dodgers have spent so much money, one is not enough. They're always going to be a World Series or bust for as long as they can under this, because it's going to come in 10 to 11 years when they are terrible. People are going to look back and go, okay, this is worth it because of what happened during this time. Or it's not worth it because we only got one. It just signing Blake Snell. Also, I think getting Kirby Yates was a good deal as well. Good closer. They also got Tanner Scott. Of course, they have Ohtani. They signed Yamamoto last year. Then they got Sasaki this year. Just the level of financial capital that is in this team forces them to break our rule, and they're a championship or bust team.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it, and I definitely agree. Adding Roki Sasaki this offseason, making all the moves that they made before this year, and I mean, they really are getting an addition of a pitcher in Ohtani because he didn't pitch last year, right? He's healthy now, and now that he'll be able to impact the game in multiple ways, in ways that we haven't seen him since he was with the Angels. So they're definitely a team that I would consider to be World Series of bust.
Yeah, and happens to be all 3 of our teams, including the Dodgers, are NL teams. I'll let you choose the next one.
Yeah, just if you guys heard that and realized, where are the Yankees? Well, the Yankees have dealt with an injury to Garrett Cole's out for the year. Stanton has a lot of concerns regarding both of his elbows. I think that he'll end the year probably on the IL. And it was the fact that they lost Juan Soto to this team, the New York Mets. The Mets were in the NLCS last year. They still have Francisco Lindor. They have a lot of good pieces, and they add one of the best hitters in baseball. Some people would argue the best hitter in baseball in Juan Soto.
Yeah, that's a great point. And they have spent money in the past, but a lot of those guys aren't there anymore. They also brought back Pete Alonso. They do have their pitchers. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? Kodai Senga is a strong pitcher for them. So it does make sense, especially with that hitting lineup of Lindor, Alonso, and of course Juan Soto, and just that level of a contract. So it does put them in there. Now we'll go into the final team, which they've been on this list for a while. The Philadelphia Phillies. Just kind of, their farm system is decimated because they're always making trades, and they've just worked on, okay, we're going to still compete for the championship. And we talked about it last year. It was going to be a tough finish for them when they were in the postseason, but they didn't make it. They made it a few years ago and lost to the Astros on that improbable run by the Phillies. But Bryce Harper is getting older. Castellanos and Schwarber aren't getting any younger. They also have Trey Turner, and I believe this is his second year with the Phillies. So there's a lot depending.
I think it's third.
His third?
Yeah, because wasn't he on the team that went to the LCS?
NLCS? Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, this will be his third. He was in 2023,
third.
2024. This is his third.
Yeah, so it's just they went out and got him. They're pushing for this team, so that's what, to me, puts them in this World Series or bust list.
Yeah, and I definitely think so. Their age is the main culprit here. I think that because of their age, they're going to need to come to winning very soon, and I think that this could be a year for them. There's other teams that I consider contenders, but they're just not World Series or bust potential. I mean, we discussed the Padres heavily. We discussed a little bit of the Giants, even though they haven't made the playoffs since 2021. We had some discussions about some other teams, but either injuries, lack of experience, or the fact that they haven't even gotten all that close recently impacts our decision to only include these three teams. And I think the most World Series or bust team is probably the Phillies because of how old their team is. The Mets with signing Juan Soto to a 15-year deal, there's less time, less worry right now because there's time. And the Dodgers will always have that concern about them, and their fans aren't as concerned if they lose this year, but they're still going to be World Series or bust for the entirety of the Ohtani contract, probably because of how many guys they've signed along with them.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Another team that isn't on this list, and we did talk about, was the Orioles, but they just haven't done enough in the postseason. Even if they won a series or two in the past few years, then I would have put them on this list, but they just haven't shown up in the postseason, so you can't expect them to be World Series or bust. I will push back. I understand what you're saying with the Phillies and their age. I would put Dodgers 1 just because of kind of what I was talking about earlier is they need to maximize.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just feel like the tiebreaker has to go to the team that has yet to win, and they've been contenders for a while now. I mean, we've seen them go to the World Series, have an NLCS run, and lose to the Diamondbacks. And while, yes, the Dodgers have spent more capital, sure, the Dodgers are still going to have the next year. There's not a concern of losing a lot of talent. With the Phillies, that could be a realistic possibility regarding either Harper, Schwarber, or Castellanos with age or anything else that happens.
Yeah, you make a fair point. Yeah, we'll have to see what the Phillies do because it could be their end. It could be bad with players losing or they trade away people. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And, of course, we'll keep you covered through the MLB this season. And we're looking forward to covering it. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.